Last time on Conquest of Dovah, Sorin decided on a proper name for the Slay Queen Pride Bird, calling it Zapdos. Beric and Sorin decided they should stop off at Stoneview to check on the village. Beric hailed from Stoneview and was familiar with the notable locations there: the Firebrew Inn, the Temple of Baranor Truesilver, Dragon Iron, the smithy ran by Trogdor's father, Cromor Dragonbane, and the Stoneview General Store. Beric recalled his friend, Fargus, was unofficially in charge at Stoneview and directly reported to the King of Ironbridge. He suggested they seek out Fargus, to which Sorin agreed. The adventurers entered the Temple of Baranor Truesilver. The temple was fairly simple, with pews and a statue of the goddess, Baranor Truesilver, holding a bow and arrow. The adventurers opened a door in the back of the temple, where Fargus had a small office. Inside, the group encountered Fargus, a dwarf with a red beard and a golden clasp at the bottom, as well as a brownish-red mohawk. He looked much like the fallen dwarf, Trogdor Dragonbane. Beric recalled in their youth, many unfamiliar with Trogdor and Fargus thought they were brothers. Beric and Fargus got reacquainted. Beric asked if Fargus knew where the explosion came from, but Fargus admitted he did not. He added he sent some men in the direction of the sound to investigate. Fargus spoke on the blacksmith, Cromor Dragonbane, explaining he had recently taken ill. Beric advised Fargus Cromor's son, Trogdor, fell in battle during his adventure. Fargus approached Beric and placed a hand on his shoulder. He suggested Beric refrain from giving Cromor the bad news until his health improved, fearing the revelation might kill the old dwarf. Fargus spoke with Sorin, remarking on how rare it was to see a human in Stoneview. He explained there was only one other human he knew of in the village, who was employed at the Firebrew Inn as a busboy. Beric and Sorin left Fargus's office, planning to visit Dragon Iron and speak with Cromor. On their way out of the temple, the priest stopped Beric to have a word with him. He asked Beric if he had been keeping up with his prayers, to which Beric answered, "Oh, of course." The priest asked Beric if the two could pray together, and Beric agreed. He directed Beric to the confession booth. Inside the small closed room, the priest pulled a partition between the two dwarves and sat in a chair, facing off to the side while Beric faced the priest. A small window was cut into the partition, through which Beric could still see the priest if he knelt on a pad that was laid upon the floor. Beric knelt and the confession began. The priest asked Beric if he had committed any sins he wished to confess. Beric confessed he got drunk and robbed a store to reclaim Trogdor's pale pink axe that he had received as a gift from the king. The priest remarked that he knew of this axe, and he warned the king it would bring trouble to the people of Ironbridge. The priest reminded Beric of teachings of the temple. He said the temple stood for all things good and opposed all evil, particularly the demons of the abyss and their evil ways. The priest added relying on demonic power could only lead to calamity. He stated warlocks, who had not been seen in Clad for generations, often relied on the power of those evil beings. This led to much woe on this continent and led to the warlock's extinction. The priest instructed Beric to repent. He told him to close his eyes and beg the forgiveness for his sins of Baranor Truesilver, as he had done many times in the past. Beric closed his eyes, and in his mind, he began to pray to the goddess for forgiveness. Just like every other time in his life, when Beric had prayed for forgiveness, he heard no response from the gods. A moment went by, and Beric suddenly heard a muffled female voice. "Cortania is in great peril. Something dark and incredibly powerful is coming from another plane. There may be a way to stop it. Travel with Vekni and Sorin, as their quest will become the same as yours, though they don't know it yet. The axe gifted to Trogdor by the king. There are 22 artifacts just like it, spread throughout Dovah. They are smaller parts to a greater item of tremendous power. Find as many as you can. Do not allow these items to fall into the hands of evil. And trust me, evil ones will come searching for them very soon." A startled Beric, after hearing the voice of a god in his head, opened his eyes and urgently explained to the priest he needed to leave. Beric bursted out of the small confession booth and rushed out of the temple, followed by a befuddled Sorin. Next, the adventurers made a stop at the general store. Inside, the party observed a fully stocked general store interior. Fresh fruits and vegetables, liquor, and other supplies were present. They saw an older dwarf and his young daughter manning the store. The young female dwarf, Anadrella, had a blonde mustache and appeared approximately the same age as Trogdor. Her father, the shopkeeper Brustor Wheatslinger, had a blonde head of hair and a gray mustache. Thin, ingrown hairs and blemishes grew on his cheeks. Beric and Sorin spoke with Brustor about their travels. Sorin deceived the shopkeeper into believing he slayed many lizard folk during the journey to Stoneview. Brustor explained the vile lizard men plagued the nearby mountains and swamps, adding he found them disgusting. Sorin briefly spoke of the missing lizard folk, Snorrian's wife, Epona. Brustor seemed quite surprised the lizard folk had names, considering them animals similar to dogs. "They are worth less than the dung on the bottom of my shoe," exclaimed the dwarven shopkeeper. Beric asked Brustor for a reminder as to why the dwarves of Ironbridge hated the lizard folk. Brustor explained the lizard folk frequently attacked dwarves and considered their entire race to be uncivilized. Sorin continued to try and discern exactly where it was that Gragas Stormbringer and Epona were attacked by gnolls, leading to Epona's capture, but he wasn't quite sure and Brustor did not seem to have any knowledge of her whereabouts. Sorin asked Brustor if he had ever ascended Comet Mountain and visited the Lizardman village at the summit. A disgusted Brustor answered he did not, just as he had never traversed the snowy hills of Pine Dust Peaks, where only danger, foul beasts, and monsters dwelled. Sorin purchased 10 rations from Brustor for 10 gold, splitting them with Beric. He also bought 3 bottles of wine for 150 gold and 2 casks of dried beef for 30 gold. While Sorin shopped, Beric recalled Brustor's daughter, Anadrella Wheatslinger, was always very friendly, and he believed she had somewhat of a crush on him. He greeted the young dwarven girl who hadn't noticed him yet. The loud, uncouth, mustachioed dwarven woman spoke with a thick dwarven accent and seemed quite happy to see Beric. She exclaimed she was lonely and asked the dwarven paladin if he wanted to get a drink with her after she finished work for the day. Beric declined, stating there was an emergency to the west he needed to attend to. He made some more small talk with Anadrella. After a short bit more of conversation, she invited Beric to come to her home for dinner, along with Sorin and Brustor. Beric dodged this invitation as well, stating perhaps he would take her up on her offer when he returned to Stoneview after dealing with the emergency to the west. Next, Beric and Sorin visited Dragoniron, the Dragonbane family's smithy, which Beric was very familiar with. Inside, Dragoniron was as how Beric remembered it, unorganized, with armor, pieces of steel and iron scattered about on tables, on the floors, and piled against the walls. Beric observed Cromor Dragonbane leaning, hunched over the counter, coughing uncontrollably. He appeared quite ill. Beric asked Cromor if he was okay, but the old dwarf said that he had contracted a disease called Viposis. Beric asked if Cromor had taken the vaccine for it, but Cromor reminded him that the Viposis vaccine that the Ironbridge government forced the common folk to take did not actually stop a person from contracting or spreading the disease. Cromor explained Viposis was a disease that affects pigs and cattle. He continued if a person eats Viposis-tainted meat, the disease affects the lungs and throat of the victim. Cromor added, the doctors said that a person that contracted Viposis, once they began to show symptoms of it, only had 1 week to live and there was no cure for the disease. The dying dwarf mentioned he heard talk of a cure for Viposis while he was in the Firebrew Inn, but he personally didn't believe it. Cromor conceded he was not long for this world, but at least his son was out there somewhere to continue on the Dragonbane name and work. Beric felt bad for the old dwarf and deceived him, stating he still hadn't found Trogdor Dragonbane, hiding his knowledge of the young dwarf's demise. Cromor asked Beric to bring Trogdor to come see him before the disease took his life, so he could pass the reins of Dragoniron over to him and so the Dragonbane name could go on. Beric agreed. Beric realized he and Sorin mustn't eat any of the salted beef they purchased in the Stoneview General Store. Beric and Sorin looked over Cromor's newest wares. Sorin asked to purchase a component pouch, 2 diamonds, and 2 potions of greater healing. Beric attempted to haggle with Cromor, offering to find out more about the cure for Viposis in the Firebrew Inn. Cromor answered he would give Beric and Sorin the items for free if they saved him from the disease. Beric and Sorin visited the Firebrew Inn. Outside, they saw a sign for the establishment, which sported a small painting of a red-spotted black lizard. Inside, the adventurers observed a modest bar area with few patrons. Inside the bar was a dwarf with a wrinkled face, no hair on his head, and a short red beard with a black tip. He appeared to be an older dwarf. The party saw a large painting on the wall of several red-spotted black lizards, similar to the painting on the sign in front of the bar. The group also observed an older-looking human cleaning tables. He looked familiar to Sorin. The man was approximately middle-aged with long, curly black hair and a face that looked somewhat similar to that of Prince. Much to his chagrin, Sorin observed the gnomish bard, Honesty, playing an instrument on an elevated stage. Honesty played a song, telling of how Vekni, Sorin, and Malicos rescued Lord Henry from the Vigor Valley City jail. The song continued on, telling of how Lord Henry double-crossed the adventurers and set them up with an ambush. Beric approached the bartender, Hulsmore Firebrew, who possessed unusually hot breath when he spoke. Beric spoke of Cromor and his Viposis, asking Hulsmore if he had heard any talk of a cure. Hulsmore confirmed that he had, explaining legends mentioned a disease like this affecting livestock in the past. According to the stories, the dwarves of Ironbridge were nearly brought to extinction by this sickness when it spread to them. All hope was nearly lost, but there was one brave dwarf who ascended Pine Dusk Peaks and passed the trials of the sorceress in the Mage Tower. The sorceress rewarded the dwarf with a cure for the disease. The Ironbridge populace drank of the potion and were cured, saving the kingdom, or so the legend says. Halsmore explained the sorceress supposedly still lived in the Mage Tower atop Pine Dusk Peaks. The bartender stated that if someone was brave enough to repeat the journey of the dwarven hero of old, to trek through and ascend the Pine Dusk Peaks, conquer the trials in the Mage Tower, and reach the sorceress, then the people of Ironbridge could be saved once again. Beric considered this new quest. He had never traveled through Pine Dusk Peaks, as most dwarves completely avoided the dangerous snowy hills of that area. Beric asked Halsmore about the dwarven hero that saved everyone. Halsmore said this took place hundreds of years ago, so he assumed the dwarf no longer lived. He added he didn't know the dwarf's name. Sorin asked the bartender about the infected livestock, then suggested all pigs and cows be slaughtered to rid the kingdom of the Vaposis disease. Halsmore said this sounded like a good idea and advised the party to bring the suggestion to Fargus, as he ran Stoneview. Sorin and Beric approached the human busboy, observing he hobbled about with a wooden peg leg. The man had very sad eyes and talked like he was mentally handicapped. The man identified himself as Bjorn. Sorin thought of the stories he heard concerning Prince's father, Bjorn Skytaker. Bjorn was said to be a badass warrior and fury lord within vigor, sporting a terrible scar on his face. This man had no such scar and a peg leg, which was not how the man was described. And yet, this person bared a striking resemblance to Sorin's former ally Prince, and had the name of Bjorn. Sorin was puzzled by this man, and told him to enjoy his day, planning to return at some point with Vekni for a proper round of questioning. Sorin walked up to the elevated stage and spoke with Honesty. He smugly taunted the gnome, telling him it was good to see he wasn't a pile of dust any longer. Honesty seemed unfazed. The two spoke for a bit. Honesty nonchalantly delivered single strokes to his lute as he talked with Sorin. He asked where Blyken and Rowan had been, stating he wanted to see them again. Sorin answered he believed they were in Queensgrace. "I've been waiting for their patrons to grow nice and strong," the bard replied. After being asked about it, Honesty stated the song he played was just something he came up with, and not based on anything. He asked Sorin if it sounded familiar. Sorin laughed and explained the song was basically a reenactment of a pretty shitty thing that happened. Sorin reminded Honesty that the last time they met, Honesty was just blowing in the breeze, referencing how the bard turned into dust after Sorin casted Dispel Magic on him. "And yet, here I am," answered the gnomish bard. "And yet, here you are," stated Sorin. Sorin noticed Honesty was much more smug than he'd ever come across in the past. Previously, whenever Sorin observed anyone being at all aggressive towards the bard, Honesty would act terrified, but here he was acting arrogant, which was quite unusual. Sorin asked Honesty who he served, but the bard slowly looked to Beric, then to Sorin, with a glint in his eye and a sly smile. Sorin cast a suggestion on Honesty to force him to answer. Honesty resisted the spell, so Sorin casted Silvery Barbs, but Honesty still continued to resist Sorin's magic, leaving Sorin frustrated. A smirking Honesty asked Sorin to do him a favor. He asked Sorin not to take it too easy. The gnome explained if Sorin took it too easy, he wouldn't grow strong enough to do what Honesty needed him to do. "Noted," answered a frustrated and confused Sorin Avicine. Sorin quickly returned to Dragon Iron and spent 1,600 gold on 2 potions of greater healing before he and Beric reboarded Zapdos and began the journey towards Ironbridge Castle. Beric said farewell to Cromwell and advised him he planned to save his life with the sorceress's potion, just like the dwarven hero of old did in ages past. The adventurers rested while flying west on their Slay Queen pride bird, Zapdos. Beric spent some time attuning to the bracers of Deej he received from Sorin as well. As the party soared through the skies of the Ironbridge Kingdom, they came across a massive bridge of iron, connecting 2 landmasses separated by a body of water. The bridge was well kept, and on both sides of the bridge, spaced every few feet apart, hung the banner of the Ironbridge Kingdom, a golden sword in front of a rising sun on a red background. Further ahead, the adventurers saw a city in the distance. The Ironbridge sigil on banners hung from the blue and red city walls. Clouds of dark smoke came billowing from the keep towards the back of the city. The gates to the city were wide open. Inside the walls to the left was the large gatehouse. Beric recalled the gatehouse held many of the city guard, and that was where his friends, Gulren and Dolbrek, would normally be stationed. Beric remembered training often with Trogdor and Trogdor's best friend, Osaka, in the gatehouse. The adventurers arrived at the city gates, disembarked Zapdos, and entered. Dwarves hurriedly rushed in and out of the gates with great urgency, as if something was going on inside the city. Inside the gates, soldiers and city folk rushed to and fro with great haste. Beric and Sorin entered the gatehouse to search for Gulren and Dolbrek. Inside, Beric located both dwarves, gathering their equipment to set out on a task. Gulren was a dwarf with a flat top of light blue hair and a blue chin strap. He spoke a bit like a dummy. Dolbrek was a stoic and serious dwarf. He had long black hair flowing down to the back of his knees. He constantly combed his luxurious locks and was very happy to see Beric. Gulren advised Beric he was worried about King Grodlum. He said there was some type of explosion at the keep. Gulren asked Beric to find out what happened. Dolbrek added that no one had yet spoken to any of those that were inside the keep at the time of the explosion. The castle itself seemed to have been destroyed and was now only rubble. Dolbrek stated many feared the king and queen were dead. He continued, to make things worse, many of the kingdom's greatest warriors recently embarked on a journey east to seek out knoll caverns and slay the beasts, as many Ironbridge citizens had been kidnapped by the creatures as of late. The gnolls had grown unusually bold and needed to be dealt with. Beric and Sorin hurried to the keep to examine the scene. They ran through the city and observed a bustling populace. Every dwarf was extremely busy. Many pushed wheelbarrows filled with water towards the keep, while others carried buckets filled with water. Others moved in the opposite direction, their containers empty, clearly heading to refill them at the city well. All the citizens rushed with great haste. Upon reaching the keep, the adventurers saw the keep was ruined. Much of it was rubble and smoke billowed from the structure. Small fires still raged throughout the destroyed building. Dwarves hurled water from buckets to try and extinguish the fires, which seemed to slowly put out many of the individual fires. A worried Beric walked right up to the smoking pile of rubble and urgently called out to his king and queen. Other soldiers and citizens were doing the same, yelling out in anguish and worry for the missing royals. King Grodlum! Queen Tanaday! Are you in there? Are you okay? There was no answer, only silence aside from crackling fires and rising smoke. Beric attempted to move some of the rubble to search for missing dwarves or at least some clues as to what transpired here, but he was unable to find anything of note. Beric stopped one of the guards and asked him what he saw. The guard said the day was a normal one, like any other, when suddenly the entire city was rocked with an explosion coming from the keep. The entire castle exploded without warning. The guard stated he believed the king and queen were currently in the castle when this transpired. Sorin asked if there were secret passages beneath the keep, but the guard answered a soldier of his rank wouldn't have knowledge of this. He added he hoped such passages existed, and a higher-ranked guard might be privy to such a thing. Beric once knew the location of a secret passage beneath the keep, but when he tried to remember where it was, he could not, as he was shown it a very long time ago. The adventurers made a quick stop at Asakor's House of Magic. Inside the modest-looking magic shop, they met Asakor, a well-respected business owner and former cleric once very devoted to Baronor Truesilver. Asakor was a clean-shaven dwarf who had a good relationship with the king. Beric remembered the dwarven shopkeeper ran 2 other shops in the city as well. Asakor's House of Magic had many guards inside, which Beric recalled were mercenaries hired to protect Asakor and his wares. This private security of Asakor's had their own quarters in his shops and actually lived in the structures, providing round-the-clock protection. The guards worked in 3 shifts, and the shops as well as the security for them were all run very well. Beric and Asakor got reacquainted, speaking briefly on the keep exploding and the fate of the crown. Asakor asked Beric if he was high-ranking in the Ironbridge government, to which Beric answered he was the 3rd highest-ranked lieutenant in the Ironbridge Kingdom military. Asakor asked Beric if there was ever any discussion over succession in the kingdom if the king was to perish. Sorin immediately became alarmed at the direction of this conversation. Sorin, as a man experienced in sophistry, politics, and betrayal, realized this ambitious business owner had his sights set on the Ironbridge throne. Beric stated he would speak with Fargus about the succession. Asakor asked Beric if Fargus had a lot of say in who would succeed the throne. Sorin nudged Beric and whispered he was putting Fargus's life in danger with his words. Beric quickly changed the subject as he and Sorin perused the items in Asakor's shop. Sorin was quite impressed with the variety and power of Asakor's magic items.
Welcome back to another episode of Power Word Nerd.
going to pick up right where we left off. After briefly stopping at the town of Stoneview in the Ironbridge Kingdom.
I want to go to that shop now.
Sorin, Beric, Gendy, and Urza, the 2 lizard folk.
I don't know, it was a month since that last time.
Yeah, so we got to Ironbridge Castle, and it's been like demolished, and the king and queen there are like missing.
Yeah, we don't know if they're dead or if they're trapped, or we don't know.
Yeah, and we spent some time trying to find them, but really couldn't do anything other than that.
Yeah, did some shopping.
Malakos and Vekni just hung out at the bar,
Here's a bar.
reading the book.
There is no bar in the Ironbridge Castle, and where you guys are now.
We're
In Stoneview there was.
Yeah, that's where Vekni was.
It's a half a day east of where you guys are. Half a day flying
You
east.
just said we were there.
No, we're
No.
in Ironbridge Castle.
If you look at the map, Ironbridge Castle is where you are. Stoneview is where the bar was. Yeah, so it's got all dwarven architecture. The sigil of the Ironbridge Kingdom is hung from walls on banners. It's a golden sword in front of a rising sun on a red background. There's a guardhouse. There's 3 shops.
What are you doing here? I don't even know why we're here. Did you see Prince?
Because of the explosion. You guys went to investigate it.
Kinda.
Oh, and they were given a quest, Kevin, by the tavern owner. They were given a quest to find the cure for the illness plaguing the people.
I don't care.
And to find out what happened to the keep. And they believe that there's a sorceress that lives in the Mage's Tower in Pine Dusk Peaks that would have the answer. Apparently there was a legendary hero hundreds of years ago that cured a similar illness to the one that's plaguing the people now. And she had some kind of a potion, and it's believed she still lives in the Mage's Tower.
From hundreds of years ago?
Yes.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Don't forget, there are
And
dwarves.
it's only affecting the beef, apparently.
And the pig.
And the pig.
Gotta eat chicken.
Chicken is okay. People know that, yet they're still eating beef and pork. It's weird.
I mean, I get it.
Sorin made the suggestion that they stop doing that. And they're like, what? Wait, we didn't think of that.
So we are in the destroyed castle?
The keep is destroyed, but the walls around the keep and there are buildings and whatnot that aren't destroyed. Just the keep itself is destroyed.
Is where that big white light came from?
And that big explosion that you guys heard. Again, there is Asakor's House of Magic, Asakor's Brews, Potions, and Ointments, and then there's also Brass Straws.
Potions.
There's Brass Straws, Armor, and Weapons.
Should go there too.
Okay.
And then there is the guardhouse, the Ironbridge Castle guardhouse.
Let's do the weapons and armor place first.
Okay, so I did not give you guys the menu for that, actually. So this is a huge building with dozens of, similar to the magic shop you guys were in, there's dozens of those guards that you believe are probably employed by Asakor that are they're like all over the building. There's an upstairs and like they're patrolling actively up and down the stairs. There's weapons and armor lining the walls in like the main shop area. The actual shop area is pretty small in this large multi-storied building. Most of the building is actually like where guards are. Again, upstairs, downstairs. They have a similar look and gait. They don't have a sigil or anything like that, but they have a similar like look and appearance as the guards that were in the magic shop. So you could surmise that they probably also work for Asakor. Behind the counter in this weapon and armor shop, you see a dwarf with black hair on his chin and these dyed green tips on his beard. He's bald, he has white eyebrows, and he looks pretty grizzled, like he might be a man of great experience. And these are the items that you see. He doesn't say anything when you walk in, he's just behind the counter looking over paperwork, and here's menu. I think I have a second one, maybe. Yeah, I have a second one. Good job.
Potion of hill beans.
Oh yeah, the Sunblade is here. The Sunblade is like a legendary weapon, bro. So while this blade exists, this magic longsword has the finesse property. If you're proficient with short swords or long swords, you are proficient with the Sunblade.
Oh, dang.
You gain +2 bonus to attack damage and rolls with this weapon, which deals radiant damage instead of slashing damage.
That could be good.
When you hit with an undead, that target takes 1d8 radiant.
Extra.
Yeah. So all of your attacks are radiant.
Constitution score is 20 while you wear these gloves.
Gloves of what?
Soul catching.
Look at that.
Successful arm strike. Ooh.
Yeah, your Constitution is 20.
Oh, and then they give you bonuses to unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
So after
Big
making
bonuses.
a successful unarmed strike while wearing these gloves, you can use the
God, I
gloves to
need
deal
that.
extra 2d extend force damage.
That means that every hit would be a D8 plus 2D10. I have 17.
Alternatively, instead of regaining hit points in this, wait, hold on. Your force damage to target, and you regain a number of hit points equal to the force damage dealt.
Jesus
So it
Christ.
hits you too. Alternatively, instead of regaining hit points in this way, you can choose to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw before your next turn.
Jesus Christmas.
How much is that?
50,000? Yeah.
Perhaps we steal it.
Yeah, surrounded by all these guards.
That is a legendary item, by the way.
And then you haven't been to the potion shop yet.
Okay.
But I mean, to make things, to expedite things, so the potion shop is also ran by Asakor, which was explained to you when you were in Asakor's magic shop when you talked to him. So you don't really need to go there if you're not interested in any of these items.
Maybe some of the shops can change over some of the stuff.
Just to save time. That's the because if you walk, there's not really anything roleplay wise that I have for you in that shop. So
Oil of slipperiness, 3 times 3 potions of greater healing, 4 potions of healing, potion of hill gain strength, potion of poison, potion of resistance to poison, potion of resistance to fire, potion of water breathing, potion of superior healing, potion of animal friendship, and when you drink this potion you cast the animal friendship spell for an hour, potion of lightning absorption, and last 1 minute.
I need those gloves. I cannot afford the 7 gloves. Now I wish I didn't buy that shit from that fucking schmuck.
We can go. Oh yeah, that's right. The shield guard thing is disgusting. It's a shield. It's 30,000 gold.
Did you buy that for Brogdor?
you guys don't have it yet.
While holding the shield, you have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magic effects. The spell attack has disadvantage against you. If you want to talk to this guy, see if we can talk him down. I'll help you buy these things. How much do we buy it for? 37? And it's worth what, 50? You have 17, is it?
Yeah, I have 17.
I have 20.
Would you buy it's worth 50?
No, the gloves of soul catching.
It's 50,000 gold. Combined, we have 37. So we gotta talk him down 13. Oh, she's done it before. Can she do it again?
Is it a male?
He is male. I described him.
Older male.
He's an older looking dwarf. He's got white eyebrows. He has a black beard with green dyed tips. He looks grizzled and focused on what he's doing. He's like paperwork in front of him on his desk. He doesn't look particularly friendly.
Alright, Vekni will walk up and she will see if he has any rings on. Like,
Doesn't.
Like wedding or something. Okay.
No. He's dressed very plainly. He doesn't have any jewelry.
Excuse me.
He looks up.
How much for these soul catching gloves?
He opens his... It's kind of strange. He opens just his upper jaw, opens, and he makes this hissing sound, and he says, 30,000. His lower jaw doesn't seem to move at all.
That's physically impossible. The upper jaw is fixed, the lower jaw moves.
Opens his upper jaw, 30,000. It looks really queer. It looks really strange.
How much
Let's
did he
see.
say? Did he say 50,000?
I think so.
Do we see anything behind him or anything? And are there guards like in the area that we're in right now?
Oh yeah, they're all over the
All
building.
over the place.
And like I said, when you were in that other shop too, you noticed that there were guards, had quarters upstairs. And Asakor talked about it a little bit, and so did Beric, that he was familiar with. That this guy Asakor, he basically runs all these shops in the Ironbridge Kingdom. He kind of has like a lot of power, and he has his own, basically his own personal like guard regiment that works for him.
Okay.
It's not a part of the Ironbridge army. It's like his own private guard.
mercenaries, basically.
Vekni's going to ask if you would be willing to negotiate the price, maybe with a couple trades.
Oh, you're not casting Detect Thoughts? Or
Well, I'm going to ask the question first, and then I'll use the amulet or medallion of thoughts to see what.
So he again opens up his upper lip and he his upper jaw. He hisses, "Let's see what you got."
Alright. She will pull out
It almost looks painful for him to speak.
Nicholas's scimitar.
Okay.
What else have I got? Oil of +1. It's purple.
I'll ask him how much for this saddle, and I'll take out that saddle that I got from.
I like that you're just carrying a saddle.
It's in my backpack.
Yeah, biggest saddle.
What did the saddle do again?
It gives +2 AC to any horse.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
It's like a shield for a horse. And remember when I described it, it's like that black leather. It looks really nice. And
It has your sigil on it.
It's a sigil on it,
Just
too.
happen to have it in a completely different continent.
Just happen to have it.
I get it, because people wear American flags all the fucking time.
Goddamn right.
Listen, I said he could design it however he wanted. I'm not gonna tell him no.
So I'll ask him how much for this.
So he looks over all the items that you presented, and he says, "I'll give you 1,000 for these." And he takes the saddle, and he says, "Get this out of my shop." And he pushes the he like takes the scimitar, and he like slides it down the table towards you.
Oh, man.
Get this out of here.
Didn't even have to cast Identify, he just did
Well,
it.
He examined them for a little bit.
I'm gonna keep this saddle in.
What about the oil of +1?
500 for plus. And he winces as he says it. Because very like speaking is really uncomfortable for him.
Let's see. Well, I don't really have anything. We're gonna have to come back for it. I have much to offer.
Perhaps you are willing to negotiate the price. Myself and Vekni here, we've come here to find out what's happened to your king and your queen, and we are on our way now to the Mage Tower to see if there's something that can be done to cure the people of Stoneview. Your price on these particular items are a little too high. Maybe you can sell them to us for a reasonable price. Anything from... And then I'll say... Yeah, I'll just cast suggestion on them, and then I'll make the last 2 sentences I say.
Do you have a port to make him fail?
No, but I have my silvery barbs if he does. So my board's a 16 right now.
And the way suggestion works is if he'll harm himself, he can't do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He says, "Okay."
yeah, so I'll say, we're kind of looking for a 50% discount. They're reasonable. It's not free.
What's the roll?
Wisdom 16.
He failed, but he says, "I love to haggle. I work here, but I don't get to set the prices. Asakor owns all the shops in Ironbridge. It's not up to me.
So for the next 8 hours,
I can put in good word for you, though.
to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
For 8
I can
hours.
put in good word for you with Asakor."
I should have just told him to give it to us.
I don't think he would have.
Yeah,
I think he still would have said that.
You can't just be like, I suggest you give me 50,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, I don't think he would do
I
that.
mean, I get that.
And he doesn't even own the shop. He just told you.
He's just an employee.
I'm just gonna get rid of that spell.
Why?
What?
Because it didn't work one time.
It worked
No,
so many.
it's
It worked
just-
so many times.
That's okay.
It's worked like 30 times.
That's okay.
How many of these gloves of soul catching do they have?
One.
Okay.
All these items are one, unless it says otherwise. Is just one.
So I guess we shall wait for your return.
He nods, and he walks out from behind the counter. And you notice he kind of has a little bit of a limp. You can actually surmise from the way that he walks and carries himself that he probably is like an ex-soldier or an ex-adventurer of some kind. Mm-hmm. And he leaves the shop.
How many guards are in this room right now?
In the shop area where you guys are, there are 8. But in the building, you just walking in, you saw that there were patrols going up and down the stairs, and it's like a multi-storied building. I'm gonna say it's 3 stories, so you don't know how many guards are in the building, but it's probably quite a few.
He is no longer behind the counter, correct?
Nope. I would say that they are held. How would they be held? I would say that they're like displayed on like hooks on a wall. They're not like locked or anything like that. Like you could surmise that you could probably just like unhook them if you wanted to try.
Does it look like the guards are paying attention to us?
Yes, you're the only patrons in the store. They're just sitting there, kind of looking at you. There's nothing else for them to do. There's only 8 in the room that you're in, but you know the building. You know there's
Can
more.
you cast invisibility on objects?
I don't think so, but I'll read it.
'Cause you can,
No,
you can
right off the bat, a creature you touch.
Ah, dang.
Alright, amen. Do you have polymorph?
I do, but it doesn't work on objects either.
It does.
Doesn't. True polymorph does.
No. It does.
You sure?
Yes, because if you are holding an item and you polymorph, that item becomes a part of you. Because think of all the packing gear and stuff that you have, like your weapons and everything.
That instance, yes. But
You gotta pick them up and then transform
Yep.
what I'm saying is
into like a rat or something.
Nah, I don't want to start a fight with a bunch of guards.
true polymorph, you can actually polymorph an object. So, yeah, that's crazy. So you can true polymorph the gloves into, you know, a butterfly.
That would probably be pretty powerful in this situation.
Yeah.
You have to touch it though?
I don't know.
No,
I don't
polymorph
have
is a
it.
touch.
No?
I have polymorph, yes, but I don't have true polymorph, which is 8th level.
Okay.
So, I guess we'll wait for the dwarf to come back.
So a short time goes by, unless you want to do something else. Okay. Short time goes by, and 2 guards, two private security guards walk into the room, and the one says, "You two, Asakor wants to speak with you. Let's go." And they turn, they walk out.
The guards came from? Who is Asakor?
He's the one that owns basically owns all the shops.
Yeah. I have a feeling that he might have been up to the king and queen's disappearance.
Cares? I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I just want these
Burn his
fucking
whole clothes to the
gloves.
ground.
Yeah, I just want these fucking gloves.
So yeah, no, we'll follow. He's getting his gloves for.
So they lead you back to the magic shop that you were in before, and you walk in, and now Asakor is not behind the counter. The guards that are walking in front of you, they continue to walk, and they go past the counter to a door. And one of the guards opens the door, and then stands to the side and says, "You can come in."
You know such a guest is. You just got Dan.
You just go what?
Dan. King sided.
Oh,
How'd you get kingside? How'd you get kingside?
We'll see what happens. So we'll go in the door.
We'll go with.
So the 2 guards follow you in, and they close the door. There are other guards in there. It's not packed with guards. I'm going to say, with the 2 that walked in, there's 6. You also have Brassjaw, the guy that was running the weapon shop. He's in there as well, sitting. And next to him behind a desk is Asakor, the guy that was running the magic shop that you met. He's got this, he's dressed a little differently than he was before. He's got this purple, very fancy looking purple cloak on. And he's sitting there, he looks he looks a little smug, sitting behind his desk. He's got some papers out in front of him, and he goes, Oh, good to see you guys again. I heard you wanted to haggle a little bit for some of the items in Brastraw's shop.
That is correct. We're here to help the Stoneview people and hopefully find out what happened to the King and Queen of Ironbridge. There are items here that are out of our touch, and we feel as if we were to get them at a reasonable price, we could maybe help this cause.
Can I ask a question? While we were outside, did I notice any forte or vigor sigils or anything like that around?
You haven't seen any forte anything since you've been in Ironbridge Kingdom lands.
Okay.
And you weren't here last session, but it was kind of explained that Ironbridge is kind of like its own independent kingdom. It's not a part of Dovah. It's on the same continent, and it's kind of a small area, but it's independent. It's not a part of it. It's not a part of Dovah.
It's a different country?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's not big, but...
Okay. So, I was just making sure that this wasn't like a vigor outpost or something.
No, you haven't seen a Vigor sigil. The only sigil you've seen is the one I described with the sword in front of the rising sun, which is the same sigil that was on Trogdor's shield. So Asakor says, yes, I honestly, I've been unable to concentrate on anything since the keep was destroyed. I feared for the safety of the king and queen. I appreciate your help.
Well, it is in our purview to save kings and queens.
Have you done something like this before, young lady?
We
I don't
have.
believe we've met. I'm Asakor. I'm just a humble shopkeeper and business owner here in Ironbridge.
She'll reach out her hand. She'll give like a dainty girl hand like this.
Takes it. He looks up at you, gives you a kiss, and then gives you a sly smile.
And she gives a little curtsy and a tip of her hat.
There's a certain arrogance coming from this man.
Is he better looking than Norsk?
He's a dwarf, but he.
Never mind. I don't like short guys.
Okay. Everyone here is all dwarves. Everyone in this kingdom. Tell me, young elf. Do you pray?
Do I pray? Not normally.
Well, we here in Ironbridge, for the most part, we believe in the deity Baranar Truesilver is the deity that we pray to, and my thoughts and prayers have been with Baranar ever since the calamity befell our king and queen.
What really does it?
I used to be a follower of Coralon. That was before a terrible incident happened to my people.
What happened, young elf?
They were. A genocide was performed on them.
Did this happen in the lands of Clad, or was this on a different continent?
This was in Salias.
Yes, I don't know much of lands outside of our own.
Is Clad? Where's Clad?
Where you are.
I thought this was Dovah.
Dovah is the kingdom on Clad. Clad's mostly Dovah.
I got you.
But there is the Samurai Nation, which has been mentioned a couple times, and then Ironbridge.
No, this happened on 30 years ago.
Can I see? Can I roll insight to see if he was lying?
About which thing?
Praying to the actual god and not another god.
Sure.
I don't know if he's because Baranar Truesilver was very good.
Good. Do you roll?
How would you know that? Are you a pious person?
So I will.
Yeah, would Sorin know that?
No one know what.
That Baranar Truesilver is a good god. Well, I guess you did. I guess you would because in the last session, remember
Yeah. No,
when
no.
when Beric
Yes.
when Beric was in
I will never die.
when Beric was in the temple, and remember he learned about the demons and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to port my roll, make it a 16, and my insight's +2, so 18.
Okay, you don't believe him.
Motherfucker! So my demeanor will change, and I'm going to tell Vekni that he's lying.
About what?
He does not believe in or follow Baranar Truesilver.
What does that have to do with this deal?
Because he's lying.
Well, yeah, of course, he's a salesman, that's what they do. No offense.
Are you saying it in front of him? Oh. He says, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but
Yeah, no, I'll make it known that he's lying to us.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but I do pray to Bernard, and
Now you know.
if you don't believe me, that's fine. What do you want from me?" And he looks annoyed that you're like questioning him.
Well, I was looking at your gloves of sword catching.
It's a great item. Very rare. It was very difficult. Many dwarves died acquiring that item from me.
How does it die?
Seeking the item out, I had learned of its location and sent my men to acquire it. It was a dangerous place.
Inside.
Okay.
So what's the point of passing?
22.
Really?
Yeah, 14 plus 8.
You don't believe it.
Dude, my wisdom's maxed.
You don't believe it.
And she leans in and she goes, don't bullshit.
He smiles.
And she sits back. They do seem very interesting, and I'm very interested, but 50 gold pieces is a little too pricey for me.
Well, 50 gold pieces is too pricey. I have some bad news for you, young lady. They're 50,000 gold.
That's what I meant. I'm just taken back by your wit.
Well, what do you propose? Why would I give you a discount for no reason?
Well, we are here for your kingdom. What is his name? Bragdor?
Yeah.
Bragdor.
Barrack is his name.
Brogdor.
Bragdor, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
I actually don't remember his last name.
He served this kingdom?
Yeah.
He is... And where is he now? He's still, we're
I guess
saying that he's with us?
He's like with you, but he's not in the room. He's jerking off or something.
Okay. Barrett, whatever his name is. He is a guard from here, and he has conscripted us to help him. He is a friend of ours.
Well, despite my love for the Ironbridge Kingdom, I'm sure you understand, I'm not employed by the Ironbridge Kingdom, by the kingdom. I'm a businessman, and I do business. I don't give out deals for nothing. I mean, if you if you could do something for me or make some kind of proposal, maybe.
Well, what do you need done?
Well, when I spoke with Barrack earlier today, he had mentioned a man named Fargus in Stoneview, of how Fargus is the liaison between Stoneview and Ironbridge Castle, and how he is probably the highest ranking military official known to be alive after what happened at the keep. He also mentioned that Fargus will probably be very important in determining who rules the kingdom if, Bernard forbid, something happened to the king and queen.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go to Fargus and convince him to appoint me as interim king of Ironbridge, then I can give you a 50% discount on these gloves.
I don't care about this kingdom. It was made up yesterday.
It was.
It was never a thing until...
I mean, I can try my best.
Okay.
Actually, do you think maybe this was made all along? This kingdom?
He just said he just made it up.
No, I'm saying, but why would he do the poster like this?
Because it's easier than drawing one. If we come to, you want us to speak on your behalf to Fargus?
Yes, I want you to convince him to appoint me as interim king. In whatever capacity he's able to do that.
Sure, I can give it a go. Do you know anything about this Fargus? I've never met him.
I mean, really, it was Barrack that advised me yesterday that Fargus would be the one to make this determination. I don't really know him very well. I don't work for the government. But he does. As I said, he's the liaison between Stoneview and Ironbridge Castle. He sort of runs the town. Unofficially.
So if he's in Stone, why would he have say over the castle if he lives in Stone whatever?
He's the highest ranking military official that we're aware of that's still alive after whatever happened at the keep. As you would imagine, most of the most important military officials, the commanders, the captains, generals, they were in the keep. And so as of yet, there have been no survivors that we found.
Do you have a claim to the throne, or you just...
I have no royal blood. I have no connections to the crown. I'm just a humble businessman, but I have done my duty as one of the private citizens of this kingdom for a long time, and I feel like I have contributed to the happiness and to the prosperity here. Look at all the men I employ. They feed their families with my coin.
I understand ambition and power. I don't have a problem with it.
It's not ambition. I just want to do what's best for these people. And I want to lead them to continued prosperity.
Alright, well, let me ask you some questions so I can give a good case for you. How many men do you employ?
Well, they're mercenaries. I would say that they number at least 250 total.
Are any of them here with us now?
Yeah, there's us.
There's
Six in the room. Plus Brassjaw's also in the room.
Who?
The guy that runs,
The dwarf.
yeah, dwarf that runs, they're all dwarfs. The dwarf that runs the weapon shop.
Oh, sorry. How many businesses do you run?
3.
How long have you lived in this kingdom?
My entire life. I never migrated to Stoneview as others did. I've always lived in the castle walls.
Do you have good rapport with the people?
I am respected.
I'm going to just grab my necklace and I'm gonna use detect thoughts and see what he means by that.
How long does detect thoughts last?
How does it read? What do you actually learn from him with that? Like specifically?
I think it's just the truth of his thoughts.
But do you see like images? Do you see
For the
hear
duration,
words?
you can read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast a spell, and as your action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. The creature you choose speaks a language, blah blah blah. You initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on his mind in the moment. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the question, it could be whatever he's thinking about.
Okay.
As an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature's thoughts or attempt to probe deeper into the same creature's mind. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, you gain insight into its reasoning, if any, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Either way, the target knows... Oh, it knows you're... Okay, never mind.
Oh, if you fail, if he passes,
The target
then you'll
knows,
know.
either way, the target knows you're probing into it. If I probe deeper.
If you probe deep.
If I go just surface thoughts, he doesn't,
He doesn't know.
But if I go deeper...
Okay. Alright. So what you see is you just see like a flash of an image of Asakor. He looks much younger than he does now, and he's dressed more like a commoner. And he has 2 men by his side. They look like brigands, and they walk up to this building. It looks like it's in Ironbridge Kingdom, but the layout itself looks like it's a lot less dense. There's a lot less buildings and probably less people. And it looks a little bit dirtier. And he walks in front of this building, and him and his 2 companions, they look to the building, and you see a sign out front that says Robles Rubies. And that's all you see.
So, a little bit more about the spell. Questions verbally directed at the target's creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so this spell is particularly effective as a part of an interrogation.
I would say that the image I gave you is still relevant to
So I saw him with 2 people...
Two
and
brigands
stare up at a building that says Rubles?
Robles Rubies.
Rubles, Rubies.
Why do I know that name? We do.
You wouldn't have that... You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know the thought.
No, but I'm saying I, Joe. That place is in Stoneview, isn't it?
No. It looks like it's in the streets of the Ironbridge Castle, like this area.
Yeah.
But it's not a building that you've seen.
You've definitely said that word before.
Vekni will again ask, so what makes you think you would be a good ruler?
I keep my house in good order. I run my businesses really well, and I'll run the kingdom well.
And what is the images going on in his mind right now? Does it relay what he's saying?
So to probe deeper, wouldn't you have to?
I'm not. It's still surface thoughts.
I would say you still see just the same thing. Okay. I'd say you'd have to probe deeper to see more.
So are you a rags to riches story?
Well, as I said, I wasn't born into money. It was my business savvy that put me in the position that I'm in. I'm just a good businessman with a keen eye for taking advantage of good opportunities, like the one before us now.
Well, since we know you don't serve the Bahamut, was it the D&D? Or the deity?
Baranor True Silver.
Baranor
He says he does.
Baranor True Silver. Since I know you do not serve Baranor True Silver, for whom do you serve?
Who does number 2 work for?
Myself and all the people here. Baranor True Silver is the deity that we serve, and I am a pious man. I believe very strongly in Baranor and the tenets that she stands for.
What are his thoughts? And
You could see just this brief image of him as a child now, in a small building. There's one elderly dwarven woman there, and there's many children around his age, some older, some a little younger. They're all dirty, wearing like threadbare clothing. There doesn't appear to be good living conditions there. It almost looks like a very poorly run foster home or something like that. And that's all you see.
My spell ends.
We didn't even know the name of the foster home.
You saw the interior.
Oh, we didn't know the name of it, right?
Vekni asks, are you a family man?
I don't have any family.
No brothers or sisters? Cousins, uncles?
No, I it's just me. It's me and my business.
No grandmothers?
Nope.
Does that trigger anything in him? I notice it in his face when she says that?
No. Because I was raised an orphan. My parents died to
So
there's this terrible plague that affected our kingdom hundreds of years ago.
is this the same as the pork and beef thing going on in Stonetown?
Some believe so. That it's the same illness.
what's your passive insight?
18.
So with her passive insight, the purpose of like her even having it, so passive insight represents your ability to discern creatures' motives and discern lies and deception without actively having to focus on them.
Okay. I would say just through roleplay, you guys have been picking up pretty accurately that he's being deceptive about his motivations. It doesn't seem like he's lying about wanting to rule a kingdom.
Now, if you're the plague or whatever is going on in Stonetown?
Stoneview.
Stoneview. It's the same as these plagues that ravaged your people before. Do you think you could add another discount so I can go talk to this mage that was spoken of at some place that said that they could have a cure? Because you don't want to rule over a kingdom of dead people.
He thinks, he pauses and thinks for a moment. He looks over to Brassstraw. And Brassstraw, as he's still under the effect of suggestion, correct? Mm-hmm. So Brassstraw nods. And he says, not Brassstraw, Asakor says, if you can save our people from the plague and have Fargus agree to appoint me as interim king, then we could do that. I can give you a 50% discount on those gloves and maybe give you a discount on another item, or perhaps give you an item for free depending on what it is that you want.
Who is the interim king and queen now?
As of right now, no one rules the kingdom.
But who would?
As I'm sure you're aware, the keep was destroyed just yesterday.
Who would actually be next in line?
I didn't know. I asked Barrick, and Barrick believed that Fargus would probably run the kingdom for now. This is what happened yesterday in the last session.
No.
Do you remember that he Asakor didn't know? He asked Barrick, That's what Beric says.
There is no heir to the throne.
There was a prince who would have been in the keep. So he's also missing. I pray that the king, queen, prince are all okay, but Brerenor forbid something did befall them and they are incapacitated in some way. Someone must step in to rule, and I believe that I could be that person.
Do you think that the people of this...
And he gives a little smile again, smug smile.
do you think that the people of this city would accept you as their ruler?
Ironbridge has been a monarchy since olden times. The people don't get to decide who rules them. Those with the power decide.
That is fair.
You're right.
Kill him!
Attack him.
No. Not till I get those gloves. Alright, so it's the deal. I will talk to Fargus and to this mage tower. If these are both completed, the gloves for free, and she holds her hand out.
No.
I mean, that is a big undertaking for people that do not belong to this land.
You have little idea how many of my men had to perish. My loyal men perished to acquire those gloves for me.
I know you're bullshitting
He chuckles.
me. And she starts laughing too. She's like, I know you're bullshitting me.
You want to be king. It's a very big ask.
How about this? If you make it official, save my people, and make me officially the interim king, not make a suggestion, not convince him to do it, make it happen, I'll give you the gloves for free. Deal?
Deal. And she shakes, like a firm handshake this time.
Here's your shake.
So then perhaps after this we can grab a beer.
Sure.
I've always liked to drink with the king.
Sounds good to
And
me.
she winks and she goes, come on, Sorin, and walks out.
Sorin comes.
Cool.
And then you follow me?
Yeah.
You came in your pants.
Huh?
You said Sorin comes.
Sorin just blew his load in his pants. This invisible mage hand was just jerking him off the whole time.
So we walk out of the store and Vekni goes, that guy's a freak, huh?
He is. Most people of high society are, though.
I know, I've hung
So-
around with you for a while.
Hmm?
I said, I know, because I've hung around with you for a while, and she jabs him in the ribs with her elbow. So I guess we'll go over to the bird and fly over to Fargus.
You're going back to Stoneview? So keep in mind, if you fly back to Stoneview, that would use all the rest of your movement on your bird. Which is fine.
We gotta go there.
Okay.
How long is the walk? Well, no, either way.
So
we
the
don't-
walk's a full day, flying's half a day.
Yeah, because even if we walk, the bird's gonna dissipate after a day anyway.
You know, next time we're going to have to cross the Teen Bridge. We've never done that yet. And I'm sure Dan's going to have some fucking troll living underneath there. He's going to ask us to go on a mission to go to Comet Mountain for us to get some magical bullshit device for him so we can cross the bridge. It's all
Do you
just-
still have the laser from Frank?
Yeah, the gun? Yeah.
Have you used it yet?
No, once. I don't even know what it does.
Have you investigated it?
I don't think so.
Alright, so we'll get on the bird and fly to Stoneview.
Yeah, Mandred's gun. I have no notes.
And I'm going to...
Frank Manager had asked you to, he didn't really give you a lot of direction on how it works. He wanted you to test it out and give him the results. But then you tried to kill him, so.
And we thought we succeeded, too.
Yeah.
Maybe you did.
So we're gonna, as we're flying, Vekni's gonna read the manual of quickness.
Okay. Oh, you're not done with that still?
No, I need 48 hours. I'm at 35.
Alright, so, your flight is uneventful, but I'm pretty sure you probably would have to rest at some point. Maybe when you get there.
Yeah, we'll rest when we get there. Because it's probably late at night when we get there.
Yeah.
It's good that you come back to
Probably
because then
like a
you
full
can see the little boy that runs the bar that looks like Prince, and Keith and I had no idea what to do with this character. Also, Honesty is there, so...
Did you kill him?
Nope.
You didn't dispel him again?
Not with Keith.
What?
Doesn't do that with him.
What do you mean? Doesn't do what with him?
Interact with Honesty.
Yeah, but you could have dispelled him.
It was portrayed very differently this time. He was not a man that was like quivering or anything. He looked very bold and upfront and
Arrogant.
Honesty?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't like the situation and not being affecting.
He was almost inviting Sorin to attack him.
Oh.
Yeah. And Sorin's like, nah.
I looked over at my troll companion and he's just like, yeah, no thanks. God, I can't even read his character sheet.
I fully expected you to attack him. I was ready for it.
Alright, so we'll fly over and then we get in. We'll, I guess, try to find an inn to crash for the night.
So you fly back to Stoneview. It's fairly uneventful, but
Does a dragon come out of the sky and try to attack us?
That's a bitch.
as you're nearing, so you see ahead, Kevin, probably about 1,000 feet in front of you, so far in the distance, so it's hard for you to really see. But you can see what looks like a pretty modest-looking village up ahead. What's your passive perception?
18.
18. Let's do a roll. Yeah, you're good. All right. So you arrive at the this modest town, and again, locations inside this town are there's a temple of Baronor Truesilver, which you guys had already visited. You visited everywhere. There's the Fire Brew Inn. There's Dragon Iron, which is the Dragonbane blacksmith that Trogdor and Cromor worked at, and there's the Stoneview General Store.
Sure. It's probably what, 2 in the morning at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just go to the inn and go take a long rest.
So when you walk into the inn, you see it's just empty, and behind the counter though there is like an old man who's kind of like hunched over the desk. He's got this wrinkled prunish face with no hair except for the short gray beard, and he looks up at you.
Just a room, please.
5 gold.
She'll hand him 5 gold.
Go ahead up, first room on the left.
Same.
Okay. Go up to bed.
Okay. So you take your long rest. Uneventful.
Long rest taken.
Roll my portents. Crit 20
Nice.
and 12.
Damn.
Oh, you're doing all the negotiating.
I can change your portents.
Huh?
I can change your rolls too.
Yeah, but you probably have. You have higher intelligence, so you probably. No, it's charisma. Your charisma's probably higher than mine. What's your charisma?
+1, 13.
Oh. That's +2, 14. What's your persuasion?
Persuasion, proficiency in it though, so I have +4.
That's +5. And I got an inspiration. Alright, so she'll wake up the 4 hours before him and head downstairs.
So you go down there, and again you see you see in the bar that there's this elevated stage, and that's where you guys saw Honesty earlier, but he's not there now. There's no one there. On the far wall, you see this painted mural of these red spotted black lizards and like this mosaic on the far wall. The bartender, Halsmore Firebrew, he's behind the bar, and you do see this busboy cleaning tables. And the busboy, he looks like he's actually the only human you've seen in Ironbridge. Between Stoneview and the castle, he's the only human you've seen. He's got this long, curly black hair. He's got this wooden peg leg that he like hobbles around as he's cleaning. And his face looks very, very similar to Prince's, but he looks older.
But it's a peg leg.
Mm-hmm.
Prince didn't have one of them.
Yeah, so he looked like Prince, but we didn't know what to do with his character.
So Vekni will take a closer look at the busboy. She'll walk up to him. She goes, "Good morning."
He goes, "Wow." You see, like, there's some drool a little bit, like, coming out of the side of his mouth, and he goes, "Morning."
And she does he sound like Prince?
Yes. But, he sounds a little dumber, like he's simple.
That's pretty tough.
And even though this man also has a little bit of a lisp, his is a little bit more pronounced.
So you look very familiar. What is your name?
Me, Bjorn.
Now, when you say he looks a little older, does he look a lot older?
No. Maybe like 20 years older.
That's a lot older!
Huh?
Hold, Joe.
It's ridiculous how much older that is.
Fine. Then yes.
A 40-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Fine. He looks a lot older.
Jesus Christ, a little older is like 3 or 4 years.
He looks a lot.
I'm 14 years older than a 20-year-old, and I do not look 20.
You don't.
I don't.
At all.
At
Look
all.
damn handsome though.
Fine wine right there.
Look, he's not really older. No. 20 years.
She thinks, and she goes, Stormtaker?
I don't know that name. I don't know that name.
Isn't that Prince's last name?
No.
What was it?
Skytaker.
Skytaker, alright. Skytaker.
Oh, you know me? Skytaker is my best name.
I know your
How
son.
do you know Bjorn?
I know your son, Chauncey.
His eyes open wide.
It's pretty
You
know
Chauncey? How'd you meet him?
Well, he says the seas with him.
How's he doing?
I do not know. I have lost contact with him.
I used to live in Ferelden before I was conscripted by that stupid King Doken years ago.
I heard stories of your swordsmanship.
I was confused.
Was
I
it?
find that hard to believe. You did, yes, you did.
Okay.
You heard that he's a great warrior and that he works for Vigor.
Yeah.
So what the fuck happened?
And you heard that he has a terrible scar streaking down his face on a diagonal.
Does he not have that scar?
He does not.
Yeah, this character totally threw us for a loop. We had no
I'm
idea what to
super
do.
confused right now.
So you are father of Chauncey.
Yes. Sir Duncan ordered me and others to crush a farmers' rebellion. The farmers in the rural area around Ferelden were all starving, and all their crops were taken by the crown after the meager harvest of that year. The farmers, they were refusing to work, but most hadn't taken up arms. Sir Duncan ordered us to kill them. I did what I was asked. I cut down women, little children. I was disgusted with myself over what I did, over what I was ordered to do. I threw down my arms and deserted the army. I planned to return to my wife and son, but after sneaking into the city, I learned that my wife had died of famine. Famine caused by King Dogen. My orphan son was...
He's a real bad guy.
Doken? Yeah, he's the worst.
My orphan son was kidnapped by pirates, so I fled Thaddeus. As the army was aware of my desertion, and I looked for work, but I found very little work. I became a beggar. But about a year ago, I came across my son. He cursed me. Chauncey cursed me for abandoning him and my mother. He struck me on the head with the hilt of his sword. And since that day, I've had terrible headaches and spoke strangely. I think and I talk slower than before. My head always hurts.
So he made you fucking retarded?
I don't know what retarded means, but...
Years of battle and all it took to take you out was your son to bonk you on the head?
Yeah, so about a year ago he did this.
Doesn't sound like a very good son.
He doesn't sound like a very good father.
What I did was despicable.
You're an asshole.
Look at that King Doken and Sir Duncan.
Well, they seem like bricks too. Your son, last I heard, he was with the pirate Redlac.
When was this?
A few days ago.
It doesn't sound right.
Why?
When I saw my son a year ago, he had army colors.
A year ago? What army?
Whatever army rules that the Dovah.
One?
I don't know.
Wasn't he conscripted by one?
Yeah. I don't know its name. He seemed to have some kind of, he had like men with him and he seemed like he was in charge or something.
We're talking as the same Chauncey.
Yes, my boy Quincy.
Prince?
He's not a prince, he's my son.
Well, he goes by the name Prince.
Oh, okay. But he was all mad at me and he didn't really have a nice conversation. He cursed me, he blamed me for my mother's death. And he's kind of right.
Your mother's death or his
mother's death.
He probably should have left her.
Probably shouldn't have killed those farmers.
No. That Doken, he pushes the people too hard. Everyone's so hungry and Ferelden's so poor.
They have amassed great statues of Doken.
Yes, many great statues and all kinds of fine furnishings and draperies, and he's got gold and jewelry, but the people starve.
I heard with Doken's new tax raise, he will be
The taxes are ridiculous.
he will be providing health care that you have to pay for.
So, does his time saying that a year ago, whatever he saw his son, does that add up to anything that Prince and Vekni have spoken about?
When you and Prince were together on the seas, the Honka Seas, you arrived in Dovah less than 2 months ago.
Yeah, I know that.
So
But we were on the seas for a while.
Yeah, for probably like a month or two.
Yeah.
So I would say that a year ago, he wouldn't have even been in the jails yet. He probably would have been on the sea with Redlac.
So he wouldn't have been here, because that doesn't make sense to me.
No, he wouldn't have been. The timeline doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense.
So I don't have to roll insight, because I put that together.
Yeah, you would know that Prince wasn't in Dovah a year ago.
And what do I know that Prince's dad, Bjorn, was, from what Prince said, was a great swordsman. Mm-hmm. Had a slash across the face, and he worked for Vigor.
Yes.
Isn't he a Fury Lord?
Yes.
And I know that.
I'm not sure if you know that or not.
Can I see if...
I think you do.
Can I see if what I'm looking at is some, like, magic? Because it looks like whoever's putting this together doesn't quite know who this person is, leaving out the detail of the scar and then the timeline.
Do you have a spell to detect magic?
I'm gonna
grab dispel magic.
I'm gonna grab my.
I do have dispel magic.
I'm gonna grab my necklace and detect thoughts on him.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Okay.
And see.
Yeah, you would see the true nature of the actual person's thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like,
she goes.
How can I get through this?
She goes. How old is Chauncey the last you spoke with him?
How old would Prince be?
19.
I think my boy's about 18 or 19 at this point.
And what kind of sword did he use to hit you?
It was this giant great sword.
And what are his thoughts going? Does the image that he portrays of Prince look like Prince?
Just say, who are you?
So you see what he saw. You see this man with long, curly black hair, just like Bjorn looks like he has. A face very similar to Bjorn. With a terrible scar going down it. And he's got this sword that has this pink pouch attached to the hilt, and you see this man smash Bjorn fucking violently as hell in the head with this hilt, and the man go down. And this man that looks like Prince is wearing red and gold, and he's got the Furia sigil emblazoned on his armor. It does look like Prince,
But older.
but older.
So this is not Bjorn, this is somebody else.
He's telling you he's Bjorn.
What is your real name?
My name is Bjorn Skytaker.
Where are you from, Bjorn?
Ferelden, I told you.
So what thoughts?
So who is the ones that teach you?
My son.
He looks the same age as you.
What do you mean my son looks the same age? He's not here. What are you talking
Oh, that's
about?
right. I'm reading your thoughts.
Well, if he says that he's from Ferelden, and what
I'm gonna
is
probe
the
deeper.
true nature of his...
I'm gonna probe deeper.
Okay. And where's...
I'm
how's
gonna
that work?
probe on who the person was that hit him. So you have to roll a...
Okay.
Target must make a wisdom saving throw. How do I determine what my...
Spell DC is?
Yeah, because I don't have spell DC.
It would still be in your thing there. Yeah.
It's not here. Oh, in here? I don't know what my DC is. DC 13.
DC 13.
Wisdom.
Failed.
Okay, so she probes deeper to know who the guy, to see who the guy was that hit him.
So
This is
you,
like Inception now. It's like going deeper into the dream.
so you see a little more complete of a picture. Bjorn is there. You see like a first-person view, and he's like cleaning a table in the bar that you're in. He's like cleaning a table, and he hears this door open behind him, and you overhear these muffled voices talking about a King Grodlum, and about how he needs to bend the knee to vigor, and allow his people to become absorbed into their kingdom. And you hear them like talking, and he turns and he looks at what looks like a very similar. He turns and he looks at this figure. It looks very similar to himself, but a little bit different. It does look like Prince, but he looks a little older. He's got the scar as I described. He has got sword on his back as I described. He's got a cape, red cape. He's got gold and red armor, and he looks over. Again, you see that first person view, and he looks over to Bjorn, and he immediately recognizes him, and he says, "This is that swordsman with the armor." He looks at Bjorn, and he says, "You. What are you doing here?" And he goes, again, from the first person view, "It can't be. You're my son." And the man in the armor, he walks right over to him and he goes, "You caused Mother to die!" Boom! And he hits him in the head with the hilt of a sword, and then black.
I'm so confused. I'm so fucking confused.
Is this like Prince have a brother or something?
Not that I know of. But Bjorn was his dad. So does this Bjorn that I'm seeing in the image in his mind, the guy with the sword, does he look like 20 years older or 5 years older than Prince?
Probably more than 20 years older than Prince.
So he looks older than the guy I'm talking to?
Slightly.
Fuck.
So is this just Bjorn the First, the son?
I have no idea what's
The
going on.
older
You
one?
caused Mother to die and he cracked him in the head. This is making no sense.
Dive even deeper.
Alright. She's gonna again, she'll ask, "Who are you?"
I'm Bjorn Skytaker.
And she will probe deeper on that to see who he really is. But I'll recast the spell because it's gotta be
Sure.
over a minute.
You don't have spell slots, right?
No, but I have 3 charges.
Oh,
This is the third charge.
This is the second charge.
it lasts 1 minute.
Yep.
It's the third charge.
Second, because we took a long rest.
He's right.
Oh, it's 3 a day.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Wait, don't you have to roll to see if it recharges?
Yeah, but I only used 1, and it's 1d3.
Oh, so it's always at least 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you see an image of
So I'm gonna dive deeper. So roll a wisdom because I don't want surface thoughts. I want like deep thoughts.
13?
Yeah, he knows that this is happening.
He passed.
Okay. But it's still up for a minute, so I have a minute to keep going.
Passed?
He passed the roll. Yeah, 13.
Either way.
Oh, mind silver.
Mind sliver? You mean
Or silvery barbs it.
Passed again.
Damn.
Same roll.
See if he oh no, the spell ends if he succeeds. Okay, so the spell ends. And you know that I was probing in your mind.
He doesn't really do anything about it.
Yeah,
He's not armed.
Because if you're not a magic caster, how does that feel? Like, think about how do you describe someone probing your mind?
So I would describe that as the scene in Harry Potter, the Order of the Phoenix, where Voldemort is literally trying to probe into his mind. You can see like Harry kind of like struggling. He's like like kind of like doing one of these things.
So that's how Bjorn is acting. He's like, and drool's coming down. What the fuck? Oh, my head aches.
There's even like a part too where like Voldemort almost like takes over and like changes his eyes and it has like Voldemort's eyes.
Damn it, I'm so confused.
And then Harry Potter had to like fight
So,
him out.
Bjorn looks younger than Bjorn,
Yep.
but Bjorn thinks that Bjorn is Bjorn's dad.
Bjorn thinks Bjorn is Chauncey. They didn't really have a conversation. He basically was like, "You caused mother to die," and ran up to him, and then walked up to him and just fucking smashed him in the head, and then he was out.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Now he appears to be brain damaged and shit.
It seems like if Prince were his brother, this would be his brother.
He's what, 20 years older? You caused mother to die? But he thinks that he's Prince's dad? None of this is making sense. I'm gonna have to message you. Does Prince have a brother? I'm super confused.
Give us Prince's backstory, please.
Did your son have a scowl?
Yes, actually, he did. I would have asked him about it, but he hit me in the head right away.
But how could your son be older than you?
He's not. He's like 18 or 19.
Or is Prince not who he is?
What?
Or is Prince not who he is? Who he led us to portray that he was?
What? Why would
Prince.
I know what you mean, but like, what are you talking about?
He's saying maybe Prince isn't Chauncey Skytaker, is what he's saying. Which is awesome.
I'm super confused and don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, so last session we just kind of walked away from this guy. I'm kidding.
It doesn't, the memories and whatnot don't make any sense.
Yeah, we straight up was just like, alright. Thanks.
So he thinks that Bjorn is Chauncey. And he thinks that Bjorn, who looks like he's in his 40s or 50s, is an 18-year-old. But he has brain damage. I don't freaking know. I have no idea where to go with whatever's going on right now. So Vekni's just gonna get confused and be like, nothing you are saying is making any sense.
I'm sorry, just I have headaches and I get confused sometimes.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I was reading into your thoughts,
You can do that?
and the man that you said struck you looks older than you.
He's definitely looking like my son. He said that I caused his mother to die.
This man that struck you looks, in your thoughts, looks older than you, and his name is Bjorn.
It never really occurred to me. I don't know. What do you mean his name is Bjorn? That's my name. His name is Chauncey.
That was not Chauncey's attitude.
It had to be. It looked just like my son.
From the visions I got from you, it was not Chauncey.
Who is it?
It's Bjorn.
I'm Bjorn.
I don't think you are.
Doesn't make any sense.
What was Chauncey's mother's name?
Whatever Prince said it was. Let's say, I don't think he actually gave her a name. Let's say her name is Gabrielle.
Marigold Mandrake.
Gabrielle.
Can you imagine?
Did Chauncey have any brothers or sisters?
No, he was an only son.
Sounds like maybe Prince wasn't who Prince actually told us he was.
Well, he's saying that Prince is 18, but the image that he has in his head is a 40 or 50-year-old dude.
And he had that.
Do you have any brothers?
No, I was an only child.
And when he got hit by Prince, he had one of those pink queer things on this item as well.
There was like a pink, weird-looking pouch on the hilt of his, attached to the hilt of his sword.
Yeah. That keeps coming up.
Yeah, pink.
Oh yeah, all the pieces together make like a superior being or something.
Some kind of superior item, how evil's gonna be coming from.
All the circles make a square!
Hell,
All the circles make a square!
Is that Team 4 Star? How
Bro, all the squares make a circle? I don't remember which one it was.
how evil beings were going to be coming for the items, and that he needed to stop them from getting them.
So Vekni is going to sit down at a table that this guy's cleaning and tell him, and just like do this, so beckon him to sit down next to him.
He goes, I'm working right now. I don't think Hoffmore will like it if I take a seat.
This will take a minute.
He looks over to Hoffmore, and he's like giving him like a stern eye. He's like, I can't sit.
She'll turn over and be like, just 1 minute, sir.
He goes, so then
She goes, because she already mentioned that she was reading his thoughts, and she goes, I will try this one more time. Will you allow me to read into your thoughts?
What's the reason for this? Though?
Because I'm very close with Chauncey. And I just want to make sure that you're thinking things correctly.
For my fun friend, I suppose so. If you see him again, tell him I'm sorry. I want to speak with him.
Okay, so what she's asking is for him to not resist her digging deeper.
Sure.
So he sits down and she puts her hand on the necklace, on the golden skull with the emerald eye, or the sapphire eyes. That's what the picture is.
Okay.
So she goes, who are you?
I'm Bjorn Skytaker.
And I'm going to dig deeper.
You see from his first-person perspective, he's working on this farm. It's a very modest, small farm. Not a lot of livestock. Not a lot of crops. It's very, very modest. He has a wife. She's pretty plain-looking. She has black hair as well, and dark features. She's a white lady. There's a little boy sitting on the ground, and he's got these two, like, very, very crude, cheaply made pirate, like, little figures, and he's playing with his like little action figures, and there's like a little like crappily made wooden boat. He's doing like pirates. He's playing little boy. He's very young. He's like 4 or 5 years old, and from the first person perspective, he's just like watching his boy play, and he's like, ah, man. He turns, goes outside to do some more work. As he's tending his fields, he hears this sound in the distance. He hears this galloping, like horse hooves. And he sees a small litany of soldiers coming down the dirt road towards his house, and the sigil with the white rose of Ferelden flying on banners that they have with their mounts. And they get near him, and the vision ends.
So, from that vision, I can ascertain that he was not a part of the military. He was one of the farmers attacked by the military.
You didn't see them breach him. You didn't see them attack him. As he told you in his story, he was a farmer and was conscripted by Sir Duncan into the military and forced to fight against his will.
I'll dig deeper on that.
You hear, you see Black, and you hear, "No, no, please, we're doing everything the king asks." And then you see his first-person perspective, and he's holding a sword, and this woman and her child are just cowering in this like small room. "Please, no, please. We did everything we could for the king. We can't produce enough crops. The demands are too high. We can't afford these taxes." And you see his vision start to get a little blurry, as if his eyes are tearing up. And he says, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I must do my duty." And he reels back and starts to bring the sword down, and the vision ends.
Love joking.
And she'll say, "Who is your son?"
Flunky Skytaker.
And I'll dig into that.
You see a vision of... He's in that same field that you saw 2 visions ago. And he's holding his boy, looking like into his eyes. And again, his vision blurs a little bit. And he goes, "I'm sorry, Chauncey, but I have to go serve the king. When your daddy gets back, he'll be a hero. And I'll be back with you soon, I promise. You and your mother. Take care of her. You're the man of the house while I'm gone." And he puts him down, and then he turns and walks towards the soldiers with the Ferelden sigils and the mount.
Alright, who is the man with the scar?
It's my son.
I'll dig into that.
You see the same scene of him getting hit in the head with the hilt.
So fucking confused with these people. How old are you?
– 41.
And
He said he's 20 years older than Prince. And Prince was 4 at the time of the one vision. So he'd been 24 when Prince was born.
yeah. So what was your name?
Bjorn.
I'll dig onto that. Is there like an image of someone calling him Bjorn?
Okay. You see, again, we're going back to that farm. That scene with the soldiers and his son. And it looks like this is like right before that last scene. And you see Gabrielle, the very plain looking woman with dark hair.
How are her tits?
Like A cups. She said,
So sad.
She's like a farm girl. It's like, farm girl. Good with the milk somewhere, you will see.
Yeah.
she's not stacked.
What a shame.
She's about equal height as Bjorn. So she's a little bit tall, a little on the tall side for a woman, and she's looking right in his eyes, and she goes, "My dear, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to join the army. They say great things about this king, but I don't know. I've heard stories about them being cruel to the farmers. You're not gonna have to do anything untoward, are you? You're not gonna have to hurt anyone innocent, will you?" He goes, "Gabrielle, I promise. I would do nothing to dishonor myself or our family. I'll be back very soon, and I'll be returning as a hero of the army, a hero of Ferelden. You'll be proud to call me your husband." She looks in his eyes. She goes, "Oh, Bjorn, I'm already proud to have you as my husband. I love you so much." And they share a kiss, an embrace. You could tell like they really love each other, and they really have like a really close relationship. Vision cuts out.
Do you know of Bjorn Skytaker of Vigor?
I don't know too much about Vigor. I've heard of it. I know it has something to do with the Dovah government. I don't really know.
That's probably the end of my spell.
Okay.
That didn't help at all.
See? You hear that door open?
I think that was upstairs.
It was upstairs, yeah.
I think that was like a cabinet.
How'd you lose your leg?
We've been talking to this fucking retard for an hour.
I know, because I'm not getting it. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand how Bjorn hit Bjorn. I'm just fucking confused.
I left it in bar brawl. Here.
It's a hell of a bar, bro.
Yes. There was this man who wanted us to pay protection money to him for operating a bar, and Huffmore refused. I was a former soldier. I tried to fight his guards, but it didn't go well for me.
Who is this man?
He's a man from the city, a dwarf named Asakor.
I heard he might be a new king.
Well, I don't think that's... He's like a bad guy. He's not going to be... He's nothing to do with the government or anything, I don't think.
He doesn't seem so bad.
You know him? Be careful around him. You can't trust anything he says.
Figure that out.
He does seem a little slimy, but that's besides the point.
He seems to have this kingdom under its best intentions.
That doesn't sound right. He's a greedy man. Look what he did to me. It's because we didn't want to pay protection money.
Well, it seems like he needed the protection.
Well, Huffmore pays him now.
Who pays him?
Huffmore.
Who?
The owner.
Huffmore.
Who?
Huffmore.
Who?
Huffmore.
Well, if we can find your son, I will tell him where you are.
I thank you so much.
Can I... The image that I saw, that man that struck you was not your son.
It looked just like him.
He looked like he was in his 50s. Your son, Chauncey, is young, a young man.
Everyone looks different in a uniform. Even I look different, wearing my fur all the colors.
Doesn't age you 40 years.
Battle hardens you. Ages you quick.
I saw your son 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was with him. He did not look like that. He did not have a scar across his face.
That's impossible. He had the scar a year ago.
This is not the same person.
It was definitely my son.
I
I
was
recognize
with him too.
I recognize my boy.
This is making no sense to me. And I'm sorry for wasting your time.
It's not a problem.
Perhaps you should be sorry for wasting ours.
You wish to talk with me.
Easy, son. So I'll go up to the bar, order a drink and a rash of some food for the day.
So he hands you a plate of beef. And he asks you if you want fire brew liquor, comet ale, or halanka rum.
I take the Halanka rum and she'll push the beef away and be like, can I get the eggs?
Well, we have pork.
Don't eat the pork.
Yeah, he makes you some eggs, and he says 5 gold for the rum, and the eggs are on the house.
Sure. And I don't pay the 5 gold.
If someone doesn't eat anything or drink anything from this place.
No?
Nothing.
Alright, so what time of day is it?
So I'm going to say you went to bed at 2. You slept 4 hours. Sorin's there, so
10 a.m.
it's 8 hours, so 10. So I'm going to say it's, you talked to that guy for like an hour, so I'm going to say it's 11.
Okay, so
11 a.m.
let's go find Fargus, I guess.
So, as Sorin would recall, Fargus had an office in the back of the Temple of Baranar True Silver. So you guys walk into the temple, you see a priest behind an altar. He's not really paying you mind, and you guys walk right back to the door that leads to Fargus's office.
Wait, so you do stuff. You're much more eloquent than I.
You hear, "Come in."
We'll walk in.
So you walk in and you see Fargus, who's one of Barrick's childhood friends. Fargus has a red beard with a gold clasp at the bottom and a brownish red mohawk. He looks much like Trogdor. In their youth, many thought that Trogdor and Fargus were brothers, which was said last time.
Fargus, how are you doing today?
It was good to see you again, Sorin. I don't believe I met your friends. Nice to meet you, my lady.
Vekni pulls off her hat and bows and offers her hands because I'm Vekni of Mkwe.
I come with
Where's Barrick?
He's right here.
the whole time.
I thought you were leaving him behind.
Barrick is in Ironbridge right now. The area is in complete disarray. I don't know if you know or not.
Well, I sent you there, remember, to find out what happened with that explosion. What'd you guys find out?
Barrack is doing what Brogdor is doing what he can to keep the area as stable as possible.
Okay.
But the current king and queen are presumed dead or missing.
Well, that's horrible news.
There was a very big explosion that completely took out the castle. Nobody knows what's going on. People are running around the streets. Guards are all over the place looking for whoever they can, survivors. We, myself, Brogdor, and Vekni, tried our best as well to look for whoever we can, any kind of survivors. We even pulled apart some rubble that was in the last session. I set my owl scouting to see if we can hear screams or any survivors, but came up with nothing.
Who's assumed leadership in the castle?
That is why we are here. We were told that you would be the one to elect the person as interim leader till answers are found.
Brogdor sent us here. He told us that.
What of Asaka?
Who was Asaka?
Yeah, you guys wouldn't know him, but
Who is that?
Asaka is the head commander of the Royal Army.
We were there.
Is he missing as well?
There was no one in control, but there was a man there that he has a significant security details that would probably be of big use to the what's the name of that town?
Yeah, Ironbridge.
Ironbridge. His name is Asakor.
You spoke with Asakor?
I did.
Of course he wants to take control.
But the man
He's
was
an ambitious man.
of course, but the man with that kind of power and that kind of manpower could be of use in the interim.
The Ironbridge Kingdom has little crime, but the crime that does take place is mostly organized by that man. He is not a good person.
Brogdor seems to think otherwise.
Barrack thinks that Asakor should.
His name's Brogdor, okay?
Barrack thinks that Asakor should rule Ironbridge. I find that hard to believe.
Temporarily.
Yeah, temporarily, and then he'll refuse to cede back rule.
Well, can you not? If the king is back, how do you keep the rule? No one will follow you. So is this temporarily until he finds the king?
If you give that man control of our military, he will never give control up.
I knew this was a dead end.
How does your political system here work? I mean,
Our monarchy, the king and queen rule.
Yes, but without the king and queen, who was next in line?
The king's son.
And
Without the
king's
son?
was missing.
If there are no
Who was next in
heirs,
line?
who is next in line?
That's a emergency that's never happened before in our history.
Well, it's obviously happening now.
I actually don't know. I guess
So-
after Osaka, I would be the next highest military leader.
Wouldn't the
I
man
suppose it would be me until we could find the king and queen, or I'm not sure. We don't do elections here. Maybe it's something we could look into. I don't know.
is that something that you are looking for that title, that pressure?
I have no ambition to rule, but I do want my people to prosper.
Well, it seems like you are next in line, whether you like it or not.
Oh man, this is heavy.
The real question is whether or not you're ready to take it.
But a man like Asakor, so he is ambitious, has shown that he can lead men.
I have to think on it, I guess. Did he have some kind of a... So are you coming as emissaries and speaking for him?
Yes.
Okay.
I am coming for the best interests of Ironbridge, whether it be Asakor or even yourself. If you were to obtain rule, this is not something that people tend to want to do. People never know that they're ready until they're ready. And if
Okay.
you know this man to be corrupt and evil and take over this area, then you know that he should not do this. But as a man of yourself, if you were able to finally take control, you could execute him for his war crimes, for his crimes. You could do that, show your power to the rest of the kingdom, and also prove to everyone that you are here to look out for their best interests. Don't cast suggestions on them.
So you want him to
Become a leader,
and execute Asakor?
and that's to execute Asakor.
Oh. What after all?
Wisdom.
What did you say?
I want him to take control and execute Asakor.
What? Why?
We'll just take shit anyway. Where's he gonna go?
What's the DC? 19 was the DC.
Oh no, well, I'll silver barbs it anyway. I'll tell you this.
13?
16.
Oh, so you failed.
Okay. Woo! Silver barbs to the rescue! And you fail it.
So he'll say.
So via this suggestion, for the next 8 hours, he needs to do everything in his power to assume control
he'll
and want to execute this man.
he'll play with his beard, and he'll say, "Your words make a lot of sense. I will gather the best warriors that we have in Stoneview, and we'll ride on Ironbridge. Once I get there, I'll go to the Gatehouse. I'll speak to my good friends, Dolbrek and Gulren, at the Gatehouse, and we'll gather all the soldiers we can. We'll take that man. We'll try him for his crimes, and justice will be served."
I cannot stress this enough, but this is very important. That the true nature of your intent only stays within the three of us in these four walls. When you get there, he must think that you are there to give him control.
Deception isn't really my forte.
But perhaps if we return,
I can do this.
perhaps if we return with you
We can do that.
for the price that we are able to choose items from his store.
Come again?
Well, if you're going to execute this man, we should be able to take from his store, no?
You want to rob his shop?
Well, if he's dead, you can't rob a dead man.
He has items that we feel like would be encumbrant to provide for you to provide to us.
He looks pretty offended at Vekni's suggestion.
Please, well, either way, this suggestion is going to happen.
Pardon my words.
Yeah, I think that's just the way you phrased it.
Common is not my native tongue.
Hmm.
And she starts speaking in Elvish.
I only speak Dwarvish in common. My apologies.
I apologize
That
for
bad.
my words. As you can tell, is that I fumble with this language.
What about those lizard folk? Are they with you in the room, or you have them
We
outside
have
somewhere?
not mentioned these people since Ironbridge.
I don't know
I
who
know.
they are.
Did you leave them in Ironbridge? You
We left him with Barrack.
They're out.
Okay, alright, that's fine.
Yeah, they're back with Barry.
Yeah, okay. So,
But what she means to say is that this criminal that you speak of has things and items that would allow us to help Ironbridge and Stoneview and possibly help locate your true kings and queens and even the missing prince. If we were to possess these items, these are things that Asakor is actually holding at ransom to us.
what do you mean by that?
He's not providing them to us, even knowing that our quest is noble. It would actually help you and help this kingdom find your missing king and queen.
And to save you from these plagues that is plaguing you.
While he's a private citizen, it still should be his duty to do everything he can for king and crown.
And this sounds like treason.
You know, I actually do agree with you that he's a businessman. I understand that he has business to run. He's have to make money, but this is an emergency. This is a dire time where our kingdom is in turmoil. We may have to have someone replace the crown, and the people of Stoneview are dying of plague, and he refuses to provide you with some help. That doesn't, and you're willing to risk your lives to find the cure. That doesn't seem right.
We are. And
What is wrong with this man?
Well, we told you that he wanted us to come speak with you on his behalf to make him king.
And Brogdor.
How many men does he have?
250.
That's a lot of men.
Is,
How
For
many?
a small security force, yeah, that's a lot.
didn't he actually tell us how many he had?
Yeah,
250.
50.
Okay, yeah, we can take it. Again, we won't need to fight his 250 if he thinks that the reason we're there is to make him, put him in power. You let the talking come to us, and we will take him out.
Is Asakor able to fight? Does he have any magic or abilities of his own?
Didn't know.
I'm sure he's a level 25 wizard, sorcerer, dragon, if he's from a dance species.
That's fair.
I am capable of combat, but I don't know how I'd fare against someone like him. I really don't know anything about his abilities.
Again,
I know he used to be a priest at our temple
He's a cleric.
a long time ago. I know that.
You let us take care of that. All we seek is to
Do its best for the king and queen.
Okay. Alright. Let's do it. So he gets up, and he leaves the room. Fargus, he gathers the soldiers of Stoneview, which there aren't that many. It's not like a heavily militarized area. It's a small village. So he gets about 20 men, and with mounts, and he provides you guys with mounts as well.
It's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Sweet plan, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
And he is waiting at the front area of Stoneview for you guys to. Once you guys are ready, you guys can head out and ride for Ironbridge.
I assume we'll be ready to. So yeah, we'll just head out.
So again, on with a mount. It's a half day.
I'm gonna put my
Travel.
saddle on my mount, giving a +2 to AC.
Okay. Fun thing. So.
Yeah, this guy's gonna think that we're gonna anoint him king.
You're there to kill him.
We're gonna be ready to kill him and take away his power anyway and execute him in front of the entire city.
So about halfway through the journey towards Ironbridge,
Yeah.
you approach this massive bridge made of iron. The bridge is kept up very nicely, and every few feet you see on both sides a flag bearing the sigil of the Ironbridge Kingdom, a golden sword in front of a rising sun in a red background. And you see a city in the distance. And you cross the bridge uneventfully, and after a half day's travel, so we're talking about, we're going to say it's about 1 in the morning, you guys arrive back at the Ironbridge Castle.
1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m. There's not a lot going on in the town at this time at 1 in the morning. Like, people aren't up. There's not, like I said, there's not a bar, there's not nightlife or anything.
Yeah.
Everything's closed. But you guys got there at 1 in the morning.
Okay.
Your spell would be over by now, but he's still.
On task.
You made a pretty good case anyway, so.
Sure.
So where are we?
You're back in Ironbridge. Fargus is with you, and he has 20 armed and mounted men.
20?
Yep.
Did we have a mount or did we walk?
He provided you guys mounts.
Alright, so while we were riding, can I have read my book?
Sure. It was a 12-hour ride.
Damn it. I need one more hour.
Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so you might be able to get it.
Alright, so we get to. I'm sorry, where were we? We're in Iron.
We're back in Ironbridge Castle. It is now 1 o'clock in the morning.
Do we want to do this now or wait till it's the daylight?
He looks over to Sorin, and says, what do you think would be the best course?
Well, you're the military guy.
Yes, but this plan is coming into action because of your suggestions, and it seems like you guys have a good mind for this kind of thing.
Well,
I've never raised arms against my brothers of Ironbridge, and I am a little hesitant and a little concerned about how this might go down. I don't know the abilities of Asakor. I don't know the abilities of any of his men. We could stop by the Gatehouse and see if anyone else would be willing to pick up arms, join us.
Well,
So let us do that.
don't you have Puglia? If you said you were,
I do.
you
Yeah,
are
I don't
second in
understand how
charge.
this guy would be second in charge of 20 dudes. Wouldn't he actually have the role?
Army.
Plus, he was in Stoneview, and Stoneview doesn't have a lot of soldiers. He's a liaison.
No, but
What was in
Ironbridge,
Stoneview?
Ironbridge would have its army that served
Yeah.
the king and queen.
What was the name of?
You just got there.
What was the name of the guy that he mentioned was the leader of
Asakor.
Asaka?
Yeah.
Perhaps
Asakor.
we should try to find this Asaka.
Okay. Typically, he's in the keep, but we can see if he's in the gatehouse.
Who are your 5 most trusted soldiers
Amongst the 20 or total?
amongst the 20? I don't need specific names. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
So after you point out who these 5
Yeah, he points out 5 soldiers.
5 people are, perhaps it is best for them to find the soldiers of Ironbridge who serve the king and queen, and bring them to the gatehouse.
So
While we are finding Sakura,
Asakor.
Asakor,
So he gives the command to the 5 men, and
and tell them to do it quietly.
2 of them head into the gatehouse, and the other 3 scour the city looking for soldiers that will help.
Well, it's not. It necessarily should be soldiers that will help. It is soldiers who are loyal to the king and queen.
To do what?
Meet at the gatehouse.
Okay. And you guys are just going to stand by?
Well, we're gonna go find Asakura. Asaka.
Oh,
Yeah, no. Yeah, Asaka.
well, Fargus said that he's usually in the keep.
Yeah, some of them went to the keep.
Right? Yeah,
Keep
the
is
keep. And
falling
it's,
down.
and it's a smoking rubble.
Oh,
Like
So
it
we're
was
gonna
when
go
you
to
were
the
there.
guard shack.
You were just there. Alright, so you go inside the guardhouse, and the first floor is mostly empty, except for a couple guys that are kind of standing guard, and they look to you and they look at Fargus and they say, "Oh, Fargus, good to see you. It's been a while since you've been in Ironbridge Castle. What is everything okay in Stoneview?"
Is this Ahsoka?
No.
Oh, he addressed Fargus.
And Fargus says, "Yes, it's good to see you, Belchik."
Belichick?
That's awesome. It's good to see you, Belchik. We're here on some very important business. How many men are here in the gatehouse? I need to speak with everyone that's able to fight, or I need to speak with everyone. And he goes, "Well, everyone's sleeping right now, but I can wake them and bring them down here if you need me to." He goes, "Yes, please." So Belchik, him and another guard, they go upstairs. They're upstairs for a few minutes, and they come down with about, let's say, the room gets flooded with about 80 men. They don't have weapons and armor or anything though. They were asleep. Like they have like bedtime clothes on, pajamas, common clothes, and they're all like, they look confused and like groggy, and they're like, oh, what's going on? And Fargus whispers to Sorin, "Sorin, I'm not really too good at this stuff. Can you just give him a little rundown of what we're doing?"
We've come with terrible news and we've come with great news. The king and queen and the prince are still missing. We fear that they may be presumed dead, but we have not given up hope in the search. But a new interim leader must be appointed, and that is what tonight's purpose is. So we need everybody, and we need everybody now.
You hear some rumblings and grumblings amongst the people, and one of them shouts out, "Well, what is it you want us to do, human?"
It's racist.
Yeah, this is racist. I thought I just said it. Yeah, so we need.
You're pretty vague.
Yeah, no, we need everyone that we never won right now, and we never won at the center of Ironbridge. And then I'm gonna look to one of the 5 loyalists to the showman, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him to find Asaka.
Asaka's his name, yeah.
Asaka, and bring him to the city square as we are, and that Sorin and Vekni are here with this guy,
Fargus.
Fargus, and we are here to appoint the newly elected ruler of this kingdom.
The man that you address says Osaka is one of the missing men from the keep.
God damn it! Whatever the fucking crime lord's name is. What's his name?
Oh, I thought you meant Osaka.
No, whatever.
Asakor.
Asakor.
Oh.
God, their names are Asakor and Asaka.
That was my bad. Yeah. So Osaka was a guy that was an NPC that Keith created, and then when I was picking the names for the NPCs I created, I didn't like cross-reference to make sure they weren't.
He's
super
on that
similar.
hardcore ass guy. Put it together.
So what do you want me to do? You want me to seize Asakor and bring him?
Find him. Let him know that we are here with him to appoint the new leader. That's it.
So, okay, I'll head over to his shop and see if I can get his attention.
See if you can find his guards and let him know the same.
Okay. So amongst the guards that are there with you guys is Gulren and Dolbrek, which are Barrack's friends and they're his childhood friends, and they are guards at the Gatehouse. Dolbrek is stoic and serious with long black hair flowing down to the back of his knees. He constantly combs his luxurious locks and is really happy to just be around you guys and be with Fargus.
Are these soldiers all suiting up?
Yeah, so after Sorin's little speech, they go back upstairs, they start getting their arms and armors, and they start getting their stuff ready. And after a few minutes of that, most of the guys are ready, and the 5 soldiers that you sent, they return.
Yes.
He's going. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say yes. Let's get everybody together and let's head to the town square.
Vekni's gonna lean into Fargus and be like, "Do you think these men are prepared to fight?"